We are live, apparently. Good evening, everybody. Oh, well, it says 6 there,
Cheers.
so that's 4.
Well, no, when you and me were in there, it said,
Right, volume's fine up
yeah.
there. Right, we're set for another one then. There. What a beautiful day it's been as well. We obviously haven't had so many, shall we say, passenger planes flying over. Only the ones taking off from the local airport, so the clouds have been at an absolute minimum all day. Shame it wasn't like it yesterday. Started getting white about 9 o'clock and then it just continued to get cloudier. But it was a nice warm day. And I hope you all had one the same. You had a nice warm day as well, Jen. Yeah, it was quite hot outside. I wandered out to the bin to put some recycling out earlier on. I was quite surprised how hot it was, to be honest. But, well, hopefully we've solved the problem of the moving camera, inadvertently signal it to go into swing mode, its little dance mode. I found a few more settings and I seem to have disabled the hand gesture side of it, so shouldn't get any shit from that one tonight.
Okay, swearing to a minimum.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, I wouldn't say it was that hot here, Jen, but there again, I don't sit out in the heat much. Not now. Good evening, Missy. Yeah, not too bad. Still a bit lurgied up and suffering from yesterday. As you can probably see, the bruises. Another round of me treatment. Not yesterday, Monday, sorry. And yesterday I had my blood pressure clinic. And that's why there was no videos. It all wiped me out. But, yeah, the weather's supposed to start changing tomorrow, but it seems if the government are doing a bit of changing as well. There's a new white paper coming out on how these bunch of clowns in power are going to deal with immigration. Both legal and illegal immigration, I might add. Apparently this white paper is going to cover the most of it. But already, oh, thank you, Missy. Yes, my biannual sharing, it gets a bit too much it sometimes. I'm not young enough to cope with stuff like that now. But yeah, they've already hinted at this lock up instead of locking up, deport criminals, in particular sex criminals. Now, I don't know why this has never happened before. In fact, as I posted on Facebook, Starmer actually signed a paper to block one a little while back, a rapist apparently. But it's not going to solve any problems. While we're still in the ECHR, any deportations like that are going to get blocked for whatever reason. Don't like the chicken nuggets over there, or, people will take the piss out of my wife, or, the kids need a father. Well, if you're a criminal, you're not much of a father anyway. But none of it will work. All they're going to do is rehash everything they've got. Nothing will get stopped. None will be deported. I mean, many of those that they claim to have deported went voluntarily anyway. The rest of them were takeaway workers that have been here for a while, overstayed a visa and shit. You know, none of them have come across on the boats. But they just can't see the simple solution. Look at it from a plumbing point of view. If you've got a leak and you've got a room full of water, what's the first thing you do? You turn off the leak, stop the leak before you start bailing out the room. Otherwise, bailing out is absolutely pointless. It will just go round in a vicious circle. And until you stop these boats coming, that's actually what's going to keep happening. No matter how many you get rid of, there's going to be just as many coming over. And as for that silly bitch Cooper, oh, it's the weather. That's why the numbers have gone up. Well, of course it is. We've told you that time and time again. And the weather is the only thing that stops them because they can't. But yeah, it'd be just like a leak. Go around in circles. But, you know, it gets to the point that we're at now where the government are instructing and paying for Serco to try and get landlords to rent them properties, offering 5-year deals, 5-year contract, all found. They pay the bills, the rent. They will say decorating and maintenance, although we know these companies never do. You never get your property back. How you gave it to them. There's going to be some landlords. In fact, I was going to show you a clip, but it's hardly worth it, to be honest. There's some landlords out there that are going to see it as the golden ticket, as it were. You know, a lot of landlords, or the English ones now, are elder gentlemen or ladies that are just renting out their second home. Now, you know, they can make enough out of this 5-year deal with the way it is to have a nice little packet to retire on, you know. Yes, there's going to be a load of Muslim landlords and I'm fucking great. Yeah, I'm going to kick these bastards out of this one. I can fill my houses up with these young single men, the warriors, and the government will pay me to do it. Yeah. And there's already stories coming out now on Twitter, on Facebook, of people that have literally today just been given their eviction notices. No explanations given. But again, there are many which are standing up and saying, no, we will not sign these contracts. They promise to empty the hotels. If they can get enough, they'll probably bang some of them in, but it'll probably be most of the ones that are still coming because they can't stop them, or won't stop them, I should say. I mean, there was, in fact, I will find it and play it because he puts it. Oh, what's going on here now? Oh, for crying out loud. Right, I can't see the chat for a minute, guys. I don't know why it's doing this. It didn't do it earlier.
Good evening, Karen.
Good evening, Karen, if you're in there, sorry.
We'll be back in
okay, it's gone now. I'm on the right page now.
Haven't seen Stitch yet tonight, Jen.
Oh, good evening, Resist, if you're in the background there. I haven't got my emails open, mate. Right. Now I've got to get this right. I was playing with all the settings this afternoon.
The air was blue.
Right, so that's having none of that. So I've got to get that.
Caution may contain swearing.
Get that up there. No, it's not. It's not doing what it was doing earlier. Right, well, we'll go with there, see if we can get some volume of some sort on it, because it was quite low if it played at all. So first of all, let me know if you can hear this. Do you want to turn your sound on, bud?
I was offered thousands.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Now this guy, I can't say for sure he's a landlord. But listen to what he has to say anyway.
To rent my house to migrants, and then told my area wasn't good enough for them. This is exactly what happened to me 1 year ago. The company contacted me. 5-year contract, guaranteed rent, no voids, no damage, all repairs handled. Financially and commercially, it was a golden ticket, a no-brainer really. And after everything the government's done to landlords over the years, it felt like a lifeline. But before I had to decide, they confirmed the exact address. And that was the moment they told me that my area didn't meet their requirements. Think about that. Good enough for us to live in, but not good enough for people who've just arrived illegally. 6 months later, they got back in touch. And suddenly, apparently, the area was acceptable. And it's a tempting offer. And I said no. I asked around, and not one single person in my life, people who would benefit, said that I should do it. Because if you take that deal, you're not just renting out a house. You're signing up to be part of the problem. You're helping cover for a government that is destroying the UK and now expects landlords to fix it. Would you have taken that deal?
Wow. Let's get rid of that so I can see the chat again. Now, if every landlord thought along them lines, Keir Starmer will be absolutely stuffed. I don't believe he'll ever get enough anyway to house the amount we've got. Yeah, exactly, Jem. Exactly. You know, it's... Hello. What the fuck's going on there? No, didn't want that. There we go. So my computer's doing all sorts of weird things.
You keep clicking buttons. Well, do you know why it did that? Did you click there? Yes. Oh, that's why it did that then.
So, you know, and these 5-year contracts. So that just tells me that they're not even intending to try and stop them. You're taking magnesium. The only time I've used magnesium is to burn on a torch.
I reckon fellas need to up their magnesium. It keeps them in better health.
Bit waste of fucking time hitting up my age, isn't it? With the issues that I've got. Sorry guys, just opening a can of pop there. No, the only supplement I've ever taken was my doctor put me on a course of vitamin B. Or was it D?
Folic acid.
No, not the folic acid. Might have been vitamin D. for, I think it was a week. And I've never heard anything since. Yeah, they as you can see, they've taken plenty of fucking blood out of me. But yeah, I mean, the weather is the only thing that's going to stop these people coming. Starmer's got no interest in stopping them. And now he wants open borders for under 30-year-olds from Europe. Well, as I've already said, you know, how many of these people that landed in Europe over the last few years have managed to get through the immigration process and got citizenship of a EU country? That gives them an open door to just walk straight into this country. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I'll be honest, it's frightening with what's happening with this. You know, we've got so many minorities or minority groups now that it's basically open war on our streets. Palestinians against the fucking Jews, the Indians against the Pakistanis. You know, it's open warfare. What else have I got written down here? Yeah, but there's an incoming white paper, apparently, that's going to be presented to the House on immigration and what Labour intend to do about it. I mean, we know they're not going to do anything. They'll say they are. They say they will. They'll lie through their teeth. And that'll be the last we fucking hear of it. You know, I mean, if you want to fight for India, fight for Pakistan, well, fuck off over there and fight them. You know, don't be fighting on our streets. It's not our fucking war you're picking. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was over the grooming gangs, Jen. He said there was going to be 5 of the regional inquiries, but he wouldn't name one. Kimmy repeatedly asked him, and he couldn't or wouldn't name one. So he's blatantly lying through his teeth. And I mean, what's the point of the ones investigating themselves? Because many councils and council departments, many police, government officials, you know, this is why they don't want them. And it will give the local ones that they do authorise to cover it up. No, she won't. She's frightened of losing her job now, Jen. She's threatened to resign a few times. But Keir Starmer keeps her there. People are saying she's being blackmailed or she's just threatening to do it. I don't know. But apparently there's a lot going on behind the scenes. No, that's all right, Missy. Don't worry. Don't worry. Yes.
Yeah, but
The only troubles that come into this house are mine.
we don't mind troubles in the house, but you can keep your country away from it, yeah.
Yeah. No, she's talking about other things.
Cultural problems, don't bring your cultural problems to our country.
No, it's like bringing my personal problems into your house.
Why are they bringing their cultural problems to our country?
Yeah, sorry, I misread that. It's the way my head's got at the moment.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, it'd be like Russia and the Ukraine, wouldn't it? Coming over and saying, right, we're going to have our little pitch battle in your island, and then we'll fuck off again. I mean, that's another thing the idiot keeps getting us involved in. You know, like saying he wants to go in or he's been asked to go in with the EU army or alleged army that they're going to build. Well, one, the EU would expect us to pay for the privilege. And two, we haven't got an army that's got enough people left to even think about something like that. No, it's all right, Missy. Once Heather pointed out, I didn't connect the two bits there in the post. It's all right, darling. Don't worry about it. But
I
yeah,
translate for him quite regularly.
I mean, half these pro-Palestinian protesters haven't got a clue what happened over there. You know, what they're actually protesting for. Good evening, Pearson. I. Glad you guys join us over there.
Good evening, gorgeous.
It's, you know, again, you want to support Palestine, buck off over there, support it. You know, nobody wants you here. And if you were held that many convictions and belief, why would you need to hide your face? Show that you're proud to be supporting them.
Oh, Finn.
You know. Oh, yeah, good evening, Finn. The neighbour's dog's been let out. Little terrier yaps away there for 5 minutes, shouting at all the local dogs. Well, all the other ones joined him now.
I was going to say, sounds like there's 3 or 4 of them out there.
Yeah, cheeky sprite. I go along them lines. I mean, look at the housing thing. Now, is this why Starmer had this meeting a little while back, but not too far, with BlackRock and the like? Because after that meeting, BlackRock bought up and are still buying up huge amounts of property in this country, millions of pounds worth. And then all of a sudden, Starmer comes out with this: we will pay you to rent us your properties. Makes you think, doesn't it? Yeah, just saying. Not reading anything into it, of course. I'm just saying it could happen. Not saying it has, you know. But again, you know, what was the big thing that Starmer said when they were canvassing for the general election? 2 things. One, we are the party for the people, and we will be transparent no matter what we do. You know, they've been about as transparent as fucking lead, and they've done absolutely sod all for anybody in the working classes.
Other than make them redundant.
Yeah, other than cost them their jobs, homes. And, you know, and I keep saying that the only ones, yes, there's a bit of a rebellion going on in the Labour Party. But if it was a general rebellion and enough of them were together on it, they'd be putting in a vote of no confidence and getting him pulled down, wouldn't they? And the trouble is,
They have no backbone.
No confidence, they could pull him down to be replaced by another one of the same. The only way out of this shit, or even attempting to get out this shit, is a general election. Dissolve this government. Charlie can do it. There's a lot of hassle, but he can do it. Or Starmer can do it himself. And I believe he's the sort of arsehole that would dissolve it rather than give anybody else a chance in his party. You know, this is your reward for turning against me. But yeah, Jen, I mean, everybody's feeling it at the moment. I mean, And talking about the exodus, the money leaving. You got the two brothers up there in Scotland that own billions and billions of businesses and properties, and they invested everywhere. A couple of billionaire brothers, they fucked off now. They're leaving the country.
Yeah, but if they bought Asda or whatever, then Asda's staying. It's just them that's gone.
Yeah, well, you don't know. You just don't know, darling. You don't know how many businesses they may have folded up. But, yeah, I mean, Rachel from accounts at Dunbin, she seems the way out of it is taxes. But those taxes are driving away the places where she can get those taxes from. I mean, most of her taxation ideas are actually costing the government or taxpayer more money than they're bringing in. She just does not make sense. I mean, she went to America hoping to get this trade deal, and basically they laughed in her face. Nobody could be bothered to speak to her. Nobody offered her any deals. And the fact that she come out saying, yes, the talks went well, but we must be looking to Europe for deals. Not, oh, yes, we got this from America, we got that. So obviously, bye-bye, you little girl. You ain't got a clue. You're playing with the big boys here. Good evening, Stitch and Little Stitch. Yeah, I did say good evening to Resist Stitch. Normally he emails me to let me know he's listening, but I haven't got my emails open at the moment.
Hello, both.
Yeah, cheeky. There's a lot of bigger companies now that are starting to suffer. Many are going to be laying off staff. If they find they can cope with what they've got left, then they'll try and get rid of a few more. At the end of the day, even the big corporations are there to make money, and if they ain't going to make money, they give up.
Marks and Spencers were never big online compared to other companies. They relied on footfall in their stores. Yeah. And that's where they've lost out, because people aren't going shopping.
Exactly. So she's actually destroying her sources, tax money. But, you take the power suppliers and especially the bloody water boards out. We know the power suppliers are going to keep putting their money up. They're going to keep putting the bills up because we're paying more to get it, because Europe will keep putting the prices up to us, although it's supposed to be, according to Miliband, a standard price across the board. Yeah, it's anything but. And I think he'll be going now after what Tony Blair said the other day. Absolutely trash net zero. But, you got the water companies. The government say we're going to hold them to account for the overspills in rivers, beaches, and they hand them a nice big fine. And then the next minute, they're giving them millions and millions more pounds back. Which, what are they going to do? They're going to use that to pay the fines rather than improve the structure of the things. So the water will keep going into rivers with raw sewage in it, covering beaches in it. And if they build all the new houses that they want to build, it's only going to get worse, isn't it? They were warned about this many years ago, and they got away with paying fines and just carried on as they were going because they were making enough money. I mean, I believe some water companies have put their bills up by 25% this time, which is absolutely ridiculous for what you get. You know, some of that money is supposed to pay so, to keep beaches clean, to keep rivers clean. You know, don't forget rivers water the land. It's, you know, it goes back to quite a few years ago when they tested the sewerage in London and found it contained quite measurable levels of illegal drugs like cocaine, stuff like that. Many diseases. Yeah,
Oh, excuse me.
And they're pumping this shit back into the rivers and onto the beaches now. Yeah. That's what I mean, Cheeky. I had it in Cornwall. I had it perfectly. My cottage that I had was fed from a spring. And my outgoing sewage went into a septic tank, which I paid for to have emptied. Yet the water board tried to bill me for my water feed. They realised their mistake when they come out to cut it off and found out I didn't have any. And then they said, well, you've got to pay for your waste. I said, fine. As long as you pay the guys that empty the septic tank. You know, I wasn't connected to the mains whatsoever. Yeah. Yet these corrupt bastards still thought I was connected to the mains. It's an address. Boom, boom, you know, we're going to have some of that. It just shows how stupid and corrupt they are. Mamua, good evening, mate. Sorry, my eyes are in and out and bloody all sorts at the moment. Still getting over this lurgy. I'm sure today, because I've been getting a lot of itchy eyes, it's probably due to maybe even a bit of hay fever.
I'm dying.
Yeah, exactly, cheeky sprite. Don't forget, Dictator Khan of London is high up in the rankings in the WEF as well. You know, he's the head of their 15-minute cities or whatever it is. Yeah, the tap water, it's regional, Missy. I mean, you can go to hard water areas where the supply is real hard water.
We got hard water.
Yeah, as Heather says, we've got hard water. You know, you get a lot of calcium build up.
I still bloody drink
On the
it though. I'm
taps
not paying for bottled.
Yeah, I very rarely pay for bottled water. Maybe if I'm out and I need a water or something.
I love the water when we go on holiday.
Yeah, the water in Cumbria is another thing. You know,
I tend to fill up as many bottles as I can to bring back, and then I put them in the kitchen. And the next thing I go to get some, and I find he's emptied it because he didn't know why I've got a bottle of water out there.
Yeah, well, there was a post up some time back. These bottled water companies don't sell water; they sell plastic bottles. I turn it into Guinness. All I do is turn mine into piss, mate. But yeah, I haven't. I do apologise for not doing so many videos at the moment. But you know, with YouTube stifling the channel like they're doing, you know, they deny it, but it's blatantly obvious. You know, I couldn't even argue with their AI robot over the fact because I was getting annoyed with it.
Well, earlier tonight, I commented, You commented, and it still said there was only one person waiting.
You know, it's blatantly obvious they suppress it and shadow ban it, because I should be getting a hell of a lot more views than I am. But the main reason is I am starting to concentrate on my health a little bit more. I try not to move around too much now. I try not to put myself in a situation where it is going to absolutely, and it's exhausting just thinking about it, to be honest.
Yeah, but you insisted on walking back from the doctor's yesterday rather than
I needed, it was the wrong thing to do, and it bloody near nigh killed me, and I had to do it in 4 little stints, and it's only round the corner. You could say that, Missy. He's got a dog collar. Yeah, but again, Missy, the natural springs can be different in different areas as well. It depends what sort of bedrock and that they come up through. And obviously the spring is where the edge of the water table flows over as well. So you do get a certain amount of rainwater in it that's soaked into the ground. Not as much as I need her, Karen.
Paul and Karen said I can't die.
Some days when I'm having a real bad day, if I've had a night of cramps on my legs or something, because then they'll be painful to walk on or even stand on for 3-4 days sometimes.
Oh, sugar.
And hey, what you doing?
It's all right. Carry on.
And when I had days like that, basically she's my full-time carer. Even though she's working from home upstairs.
I heard a clatter downstairs earlier, and I had to check him out, make sure he was still alive. And he says, if I go down, I'll make it as noisy as possible. And I said, I've watched you do it. You go, there's no noise. There is no noise. It's just a collapse onto the floor.
Oh, you'd hear it if I was sat up here or something, because I'd fall off the chair. Or at
What
least bang my head on the table.
In the hall sounded like? Sounded like you collapsing against the door, shutting the door.
And the thing is, this happened with the stroke. I did have a bit of warning. And I managed to get to the kitchen and tried to explain to Heather what was going on. And I couldn't make any sense when I was trying to talk. It was just like blah, 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 blah. And then I just went down straight in front of her. And he literally... Do you think that vaping has helped your health? No. No. Yeah. I'll be honest, I did have a couple of fags a little while back. And yes, it it did make my throat a little bit better, but I think it was only temporary. And this will go soon anyway. It's getting more force of habit than anything else. The only reason I didn't use it a lot last week is because every time I put my hand there, my bloody AI camera thing thought I was signaling it to start tracking wherever I moved, and it was getting annoying.
Dance mode, I go dance mode.
Considering my heart, cheeky spite, I was actually born with a hole in my heart. And they said when I was young that I could have problems in the future with it. And the last time they did I think it was an MRI, they couldn't see the hole. They certainly can't hear it anymore with the stethoscope. But I have suffered quite a few years ago now with a blood clot on the brain. And it does turn out that I've got polycythemia, which is too many fat red blood cells, which can cause blood clots. I mean, I've already had one lot of aortic femoral bypass surgery for one of my veins in my leg,
just broke.
which it looks like that may have failed again. And I was told at the time that that was the last resort. If it happens again and the leg doesn't get any better, then I could end up possibly losing the leg, which was
I'll
great.
chop it off. Let him do it again. He's just...
So I'm at very, very high risks of blood clots, very high. And all this bruising in my arms and that, obviously that's worrying because that could cause blood clots, which is very strange because when I cut myself, I bleed like a stuck pig. I was going to really horrible there and say bleed like a halal animal, but no, you know, I'll cut if I cut myself, say with a knife or something,
piece of paper,
quite a clean cut, then yeah, I can usually stop that within a day, using super glue and shit. But if it's a jagged cut or quite a deep one, it'll bleed for up to 3 days if I don't stem the blood flow somehow. I mean, the end last month when I had all this done again, I mean, that one's starting to now. Basically, both my forearms were purple because they were trying to put needles in the bottom as well. Lower my BP and cholesterol. Yeah, well, I'm I'm under the blood pressure clinic as well because I've always had high blood pressure, and that is being kept under control with medication. It's a medication I looked into. They gave me choice of about half a dozen because they know what I'm like about what I take. And, you know, I went through all the side effects and can it be safely used with the other meds I'm on because my painkillers can't. If I want to take my painkillers, I've got to stop taking one of the others. And so I'm under meds for that.
I need more drink. Oh, God.
Yeah, that's what I'm using it for, Cheeky. Both me and Heather have given up the smoking some time back. Doing quite well at it, really, as well.
But the vape makes me cough far more.
Yeah, it makes me cough. And it doesn't help. I've got a bad throat anyway from the scarring from the burns in there. So. Missy, statins are one of the worst things you can go on. I mean, my cholesterol's fine, yet they tried to get me to take them. And when you look at the side effects them things can cause, nah, I absolutely refused. Yeah, I can't take ibuprofen or Nurofen or any of those sort of painkillers. I mean, I was on basic 500ml cocodamol, but I found out afterwards, and the doctor told me it as well after a while, that it reacts with my steroids that I use for my COPD. You can't mix the two. I could go back on tramadol, but I was getting quite messed up with that a few years ago. I wouldn't say I was totally addicted, but I was getting that way because the tramadol do make you feel a bit good.
Somebody nicked all the bounties.
Somebody nicked all the chocolates in it.
No, there's Snickers. But there was Snickers and bounties.
You're allergic to inflammatories. Yeah, funny enough, some people are, Jem. You know, and the other things like deep heat and stuff like that. You know, anything that's designed to settle the skin down, and even some normal creams, moisturizer and that. The trampoline gave me hallucinations.
I like pethidine, it makes me giggle.
Tramadol, yeah. I mean, the lads sort of said, well, you know, you never seem to come out hurt from your crashes when I was doing the mountain biking. I said, well, I'm probably hurt, but the amount of tramadol that I take before I ride the bike, I ain't going to bloody feel it.
What?
What have you been saying to Missy?
I don't know. I wondered what that was. Don't know.
Jen, on any device I use where I type anything in, that is the first bloody thing I turn off is predictive text. It used
who it was? No. No, I know who it wasn't. It wasn't him because he doesn't eat bounties. He leaves them for me. Especially when my grandson leaves them for me.
They leave all the hard ones. Well, so do I, to be honest. And I got to admit, I didn't abstain totally over Easter. I did have an egg.
You had two. You had one early and one late.
Yeah, one about a week before Christmas. Christmas. Fucking hell. Oh, dear. I'm like Samson since I've cut my hair off. I've lost all my powers, you know.
No, it's a certain visitor that, yeah, the tub's there for anybody to go in. So I know who ate them. She'll pay.
If it's chocolate, I'm in.
You don't eat
if I've got to actually
darling.
chew it. No, I won't eat the bounties because I know you like them, so I always leave them for you.
Exactly.
The same as any dark chocolate. Well, except for Thornton's. There's one or two of theirs that are solid chocolate that I don't mind. Adrian, good evening, mate.
I'd love to try one of those one of the days.
Nice to see you back again this week. Yeah, cheeky. I'm a milk chocolate man. I was always a Cadbury's lover. But this new recipe that they're using where they've changed the oils and shit like that, it just don't taste right. DJ, good evening, mate.
I'll stop buying it for you.
Boily Boyle, good evening, Steve. Trampoline, give me a dose of the screaming abdubs. Maybe you should have stopped bouncing on it. Is your predictive text off or skew as well? But yeah, the tramadol was... it got to the point where they wouldn't give me any extra than what I was getting in my prescription. And Heather's mother used to get prescribed it. And she never used to take it. So I had plenty to dip in, like. But yeah, and I don't want to go back to getting that, you know, using tramadol just to get rid of a bit of headache or, you know, like today, my arms are aching like hell.
Do you want a gin?
Gin. Yeah, maybe I should start drinking again, you know.
Yeah, works for me.
You know, well, the way it's going, we won't be able to get any Jack Daniels with the trade deal coming from America.
That's all right, I drink scotch. I treated myself to some dark chocolate, Jen. It's the Lindt with a touch of sea salt. But I wanted something sweet. And I had that, and I'm like, well, that's not sweet. So I nicked a couple of Snickers out the kids' tub. Yeah, you can't get dark chocolate bounty anymore. They stopped making them, is it 2013 or something? It's only been recently.
Yeah, that's the other thing I was going to say. Is Starmer going to show himself up for the complete hypocrite that he is and celebrate VE Day and talk about VE Day by disrespecting everything that people died for during the wars? because that's what it was for the freedoms and the lifestyle and the culture we've been having up until this arsehole got in power. Oh, just had notification, subscribers, 2,980 odd. Cool. Shame they're not being allowed to watch the videos, but there you go. You know, a few hundred views or a couple of thousand views on a video would be absolutely brilliant, but...
Hang on a minute.
What?
Asda's saying it does a dark bounty, a pack of 9 for £2.75.
Does it? Well, they've always done dark bounty.
No, they haven't. They stopped them years ago. I will investigate further.
You will. I know you will. Yeah, I'm not a great lover of what you'd call proper chocolate. It's just too bitter for me. You know, I'm bitter enough most of the time. I don't need to to feed it, as it were.
Now, sorry, Jen. I don't do chili. Too old. Yeah. Too many hemorrhoids. I don't do chili.
Thank you for that.
Well, you get to an age, darling. You get to an age, and chili just doesn't work.
You do what I do, just get a pole driver to push them back up for you. Oh, fuck, that's got my eyes watering now.
Just let me search, will you? I don't want to book a freaking slot.
Dear.
Let me see what you got.
Just let them tangle. Yeah.
No, it was a lie.
What was?
The advert that came up that Asda have got a 9-pack of Dark Bounty.
Yeah.
It's a lie because I've logged into my Asda account and they ain't got them.
Maybe. It might be a conspiracy theory. They just don't want you to have any.
No, they stopped making them years ago. I think it's like 2013 or something.
So this is another worrying thing with this stupid fucking net zero bollocks. Look at what happened in Spain and Portugal and a little bit of France. Now, yeah, you know, I've said this in the video. Apparently, I've seen a report where last week they did a switch over as an experiment to complete wind and solar power for the grid. And it only came up with about, I think it was 75 or 76% of the demand that was needed. Now, I didn't know, Heather looked into this, that if a certain system, a grid, hasn't got enough power to operate, to protect itself and all the equipment, it shuts itself down. Now, the fact that it was a total blackout from the word go, it was just bang, fuck you, you're not having any. I mean, that would make sense on that. And other than that, it had to be a main switch thrown somewhere. Because, you know, you wouldn't get everything go at the same time. If it was a power station that loses it, there might be a reduction. If a substation blows up, which another one did in London apparently yesterday, it would be a local outage. But that amount altogether had to be the direct result of the whole supply just being cut off. They're coming up with atmospheric anomalies, some rare atmospheric event. Then it's, it was a change in the temperature too quick. Well, you think about it, Spain. Sometimes it can get bloody cold there at night, and it's piping hot during the day. So it's something they've been having for years. But am I being over worried? Should we buy a generator? A lot of people are, Missy. And a lot of people are. Yeah, that is one of the most idiotic things I've ever heard, Jen. Yeah, I know the solar panels work on daylight, but to reduce the amount of light coming through when you're trying to collect electricity from it, just doesn't make sense. But these little suitcase generators, Missy, they ain't up to much. I mean, the one my dad had, he could plug into a fucking socket and we'd be able to watch the telly, have the fucking lights on the lot. As long as we didn't go too mad. That was back in the 70s. We only used it mainly to keep the freezer going, and the fridge. But you just have to get some chocolate from the fridge. Yeah, I am a kind of recovering chocoholic, cheeky. I mean, most of the regulars in here know a few years back I had a yard of chocolate given me for Christmas, and I ate that by the end of Christmas Day. And a couple of years ago, the daughter very kindly ordered me a whole box of Cadbury's cream eggs. I think it was for my birthday.
It was.
And bar a couple, I ate all 42. What, did it take me a week?
I don't know. When I went back for a second one, they'd all gone.
Yeah, that's it, Missy. It defeats the object, you know. I mean, yeah, Spain, they've had solar power, as it were, for quite some time. They've got a couple of these big plants out in the sort of desert, as they've got out there, the wilderness, that where all the mirrors concentrate the sunlight to a focal point to create the heat, to create the power. They've had them for quite some time, and to be honest, they've got the room and the area and desert areas that are constant sunlight, absolutely perfect for putting, solar reflectors, the panels, like the rechargeable shit, and it wouldn't affect their way of life. But with this country, we haven't got that. All we've got is fucking farmland. Yeah. You've got solar panel. Yeah, I mean, I've seen instances of, where they say, oh, yeah, when you're not using it, you can sell your electricity back to the grid. Well, the way it all works out, there was one bloke that was actually paying more for his grid-fed electricity, even though he had half a dozen solar panels, and was allegedly selling or supposedly getting paid for the power that they could draw off of that.
I will say this time that when we went up last year, our dear landlady was saying hers were absolutely brilliant, apart from the fact that she had to have the repairman out into the field.
Yeah.
Twice, was it, while we were there?
Yeah. Evening, Stuart. Yeah, the mains kept tripping out, didn't they?
But she had saved money.
That's all right, mate. I was going to say, to be honest, I didn't notice you were missing. I've been chatting on that much.
He doesn't mean that in any rude way at all, Stuart. He just...
No.
He's not quite there tonight.
I haven't been quite there for a couple of days. It's not like brain fade. It's just like, literally, I don't feel all there for a portion of the day at the moment anyway. But it's nothing I haven't had before. So.
You're there, you're good. You're just mumbling around. You're not decisive. You're not...
Yeah, cheeky. I used to do bushcrafting. As most people know, I've still got my stoves out the back. I've got a choice between a wood burning one or, I've still got some petrol in the can. I've also got a lead-free petrol-fired one, a Coleman.
We were doing this the other day when Spain and Portugal went down. I made sure my phone recharger little thing is fully charged. And there's a candle there. And he's got a couple of torches. And we know where there's lights yeah. I like that, and he fucks off looking for everything else.
Well, I've got a head torch down here in my box, but
and you use that to find everything else.
Yep. Yeah, I've got two 10,000 amp hour battery packs there for phones and stuff like that, cheeky.
And I've got a little one to go in my iron bag.
Because I used to film like 4 hours of fishing on my phone, and I'll just hook them up to those. I mean, one of those, 4 hours of recording, and it only used up, I think, probably about a third of the power that's in it. And you can use them for charging other things up as well.
And you can plug them in if you're not using the power socket for anything. So you can plug them in while you're recording or doing whatever you're doing.
It's the standard USB outlets, so any of your devices you can plug into it.
But I said, if they're going to wipe out the whole of Spain and the whole of Portugal in one go, what's the betting we're next?
Well, the thing is, and I mean, the way mainstream media reported on it, they made a big thing of people not being able to shop, not being able to access their money.
Okay.
But they pointed out the fact that those that had cash could, in a lot of places, still buy. You know, it's not the actual power outage, it's the pandemonium and the chaos it causes around it.
Well, people only have their mobile phone and have no way of recharging them.
Exactly. And that's where, some of them battery packs comes in. Keep your phone going for a couple of days. When I first got them, I did test them. And they did recharge one of my phones, which is the Samsung S5s, 6 times. From a flat battery where you were getting the warnings right up to fully charged, and they still had plenty of power left in them. And believe it or not, I only bought them because they were cheap from B&M.
Cost you a tenner, didn't it, for that big one?
Yeah, well, both of them. I think one cost me 12 quid and the other one cost me a tenner, simply because the packages were damaged. They were half price.
And you have to believe it, because he's such a tight git. He wouldn't pay full price for anything.
Fucking
like
right,
that.
I wouldn't. I'd rip the packet myself.
Don't say that. You won't be allowed back in B&M.
Yeah, they can't price the goods, Stuart, but they can, if they've got access to a bit of cash, start a float. Yeah, I mean, big supermarkets, they're not going to write every code down, but you know, you want to go into a shop and buy a bottle of water, something like that. Yeah, you're probably still going to be able to do it.
But you can go into a restaurant, they know what it says on the menu. You can get something to eat that way.
Yeah, exactly, Cheeky. I mean, we know that they want the cashless society amalgamated with the ID, the digital ID, and it is so at any point they can punish you. You know, if they bought in something where, no, right, you're not allowed to buy this, you know, you won't be able to buy it.
And did I hear they're bringing in a thing that means some of these companies that will not accept cash will be forced to?
Well, they're looking into it again. It's
on the principle it's discrimination.
Yeah.
And it's legal tender, and they should not be able to discriminate against somebody, especially if they've got mental health issues. They should not be able to say we don't accept cash.
And the other thing is, I say that they can monitor what you're doing. Like, if you drive, you got to pay for your car with the card, fuel. You know, they can monitor and cut you off from everything. Yeah, restaurants and that, obviously, if it's cooking, you know, electric cookers and stuff like that. Yeah, but, you know, you could still buy some things. But, you know, the underground stop, the airports, although they had backup systems, they did get a lot of flights out, but they couldn't take any incoming. So a lot of flights were cancelled. Chaos on the roads with no traffic lights. Although from the videos I saw, the drivers were being quite courteous and sensible. In Spain, I don't know about France. I mean, they're fucking lunatics anyway.
It wasn't France, it was Portugal.
No, the video from Spain. Oh, yeah, sorry, you're right. Yeah, I do apologise. Yes, the video was from Portugal.
It was Spain and Portugal that was outages. But Spain were being very nice and very polite to everybody. But it's like I say, if you want to get through, you've got to let other people through. You've got to, you can't just go, it's my road, I own it, fuck off. It doesn't work.
I prefer the barter system, sure. You don't take my money, fine. I'll go and do it somewhere else, or I'll swap you a smack in the teeth for it, you know. I mean, I always deal in cash wherever I can. To the point, literally, where I will go to the cash point. If Heather's nip into the local Tesco's or something, I will jump in the car with her, go to the cash point and draw some out.
Give it me.
You know, simply because then they can't track what you're buying with it.
Yeah, but I buy it on my card, so they know what I'm buying.
You know, I mean, think about it. Years and years ago, they bought the thing in where a lot of the big retailers would not sell you a telly if you didn't provide your address, simply so they could check if you got a TV license or not. And if not, they didn't have to sell you the TV. They could say no. Whether that's still in force or not, I don't know. With everything the BBC have done, I wouldn't be at all surprised. Yes, Steve, he's absolutely fine, mate. But he's still looking after mother. Obviously, they got no internet there, or no Wi-Fi especially. So he can't get online to do anything. He can, but it would take so long to just upload a couple of minute video with the way he does it.
He's busy looking after his mum.
But he's busy looking after his mum. Yeah, I don't know, Stuart. I'm out of touch with a lot of things like that at the moment.
Yeah, sorry, Stuart. My point about all that needing to use cash was I thought I heard something where they were putting something in place, and I won't say a white paper or a bill or whatever because I haven't got a clue. But I thought something was being done because they're saying that certain people, especially disabled people that can't understand how much money they've got if they haven't got cash in their hand, are being discriminated against. Because all the banks are closing, so and the cash points are disappearing. So they can't get cash out to use it, but then they go out and the restaurant or the shop or whatever it is are saying we don't accept cash, and they're saying that those businesses are forcing us into a cashless society, and we haven't even realised this is going on. And there was something happening, I thought, but
Stitch is trying to say goodnight.
Sorry, what?
Stitch is trying to say goodnight.
Night, Stitch.
See you next time, Stitch.
But yeah, that's what I was asking if Roger had seen anything about it because I can't remember.
No, I haven't.
But they were talking about it earlier today. But I have this thing. I come down on a break from work because, as you know, I have a local office. This is the local office, and I come down and there's something on the news. But he's telling me about something else, and yeah, it can be.
Stay in the office then.
It can be fun.
Yeah, I put that on there so I'd
up.
remember I was going to answer it. That comment from Cheeky Sprite. Basically, they put date stamps and best before or used by. So if you've eaten it after the date, or they sell it after the date, more like that you've got no claim against them for poisoning you. I mean, corned beef has been known to last for... Oh, what the fuck's going on here? Corned beef has been known to be good after many years.
It's legal, they have to.
It's just to cover their ass legally.
And if they expect it to last 10, 15 years, they put 3.
And don't forget, there's a difference between used by and best before. I didn't understand a lot of that when they started doing it.
And he still has issues because I'll buy something and he's like, it's past the sell by date. And I'm like, yeah, but you've got 10 days to use it.
Yeah. Yeah, I do look.
Yes, but sell by date, use by date, best before.
I mean, that fucking Angel's Delight I found in the cupboard the other day. How far out of date was that? 2023?
Yeah. You didn't find the red bounty while you were in there, did you?
No. Why? Is there one in there somewhere?
That's when they stopped making those, 2023.
Oh.
But that's not my fault that you can't rotate. You need to be able to stock rotate when I buy it. You eat one, I replace it with one. If you then eat the new one rather than the old one, whose problem is that? Who's wrong here? Me for buying it or you for eating it?
Yeah, take care, Stitch. See you, little Stitch.
Night, guys.
Yeah, no, I doubt if them things will run a Tesla. Yeah, but there again, I got no sinuses really to speak of, Stuart, unless it's something that's really, really pungent.
I did the sniff test. He can't.
I can't smell it. And there's lots of things that I can't smell, whether my brain just don't register them, or whether it's the fact that I fucked up my sinuses when I was young,
You fucked up your
with
sinuses.
some illegal powder, shall I say?
You've got pounder nose.
Just as well I didn't keep going. I have a fucking nose like old what's her face now, the old actress.
Oh yes, I've got
Daniela Westbrook, wasn't it? All the I've never noticed anything like that, Stuart. Sniff test with milk. Well, with me, it's more like put it in her coffee and see what she says in the morning when I take her one up. Obviously, if it ain't got lumps in it, but
I've never noticed that, Stuart. I'm going to have to go and have a look now. Well, not now, but I don't know whether we've got very many crisps left. But...
Yo, Loafer. Good evening, mate.
Evening, Loaf.
You ain't missed much, mate. Just me ranting on as usual. But yeah,
dying from this thing.
Going back to the 2023, 22, whatever they were, Angel's Delights. There was a banana one in there that was only 4 months out of date. That will be safe, and that gave me the shits.
Sweetheart, everything either gives you the shits or gives you the farts, especially if you think it's going to.
Oh, everything gives me the farts.
We can eat the same things, and it will be off, and I've given you a bad belly, but I'm fine. I'm sorry, I'm not built of much better stuff than you are.
It really doesn't matter which brand. Always on a Stuart, yes, but yeah, maybe they only change the machines on certain weekends. You know, on a Friday it's changed, ready for the next one.
I will check on that, and I will report back to you.
Let's go have a look now.
Is it just crisps, or is it my rice cakes as well? This needs investigation.
All right, Cheeky Sprite, thanks very much for dropping in, being part of the stream. I say we don't get many in here, but we're
Lovely
always respectful to each other.
Thanks for joining us.
So take care.
Couple of old farts.
Stay safe. Yeah, a couple of old farts whinging. Just crisps as far as I know. She will, that'll bug her now, Stuart, until she's either got a few packets or been to the shop and written down the dates or something and looked on the calendar.
Well, no, because it's the sort of thing that peeves me. I mean, my job is doing payroll. Payments through our system cannot go through Saturday, Sunday, or Bank Holiday Monday. So why the hell should I have payrolls that are processed on a Saturday or a Sunday with that date? It's never going to be payroll date. It's never going to be the day they're paid. I want to change them all to the Friday, so at least their pay slip matches their payday. And I don't end up trying to pay them on the Sunday and they don't get paid till the Monday. So, yeah, things like that. Yeah, dates piss me off.
Hunter, sorry, mate, missed you there. Good evening.
Going into OCD mode here.
What?
Well,
Yes.
dates.
Oh. Heard about it years ago, checked it was true. Never checked again.
You'll probably find in the good old days, the machine that stamped the date was only changed once a week. Now, because of digital technology, you'll probably find it changes on a daily basis. But I will investigate, and I expect you to as well, Stuart, as you brought it up.
It goes back to the story I said last week about the chap at British Leylands that got pissed and stamped the same chassis number on every single car on the shift.
Yeah, but when you think about it, I mean, I used to do it when I was doing the post. Somebody would give me the post, the letter opener, and the stamp. And I'd be 3/4 of the way through it before I thought this is all coming in with yesterday's date.
Arabic chalky Rolos last forever. You talking about Turkish Delight, mate? Just as a quick guess off the top of my head.
What Where are you talking to? What was that?
Moo.
Who? Arabic
I
chalky
don't like
Rolos.
Turkish delight. It's like chewing raw jelly that you used to pull off the block.
What's Arabic chalky Rolos? No, you're weird.
You heard that, Moo? She's calling you weird over there.
I didn't know the swear word though because I paused.
That pack goodies. Never heard of that. Yeah, that's the thing, Missy. And that this is what the government don't want us to have is the train of thought and a bit of common sense.
Neither does my boss.
Because you need a bit of common sense to see what they're doing is wrong. Those of us with a lot more common sense can absolutely see it, but they're the only ones that can't.
I mean, just going back to that payday is Sunday on the payslip. I will be told make sure you put it through with the right payday because it won't pay on payday. And I'm like, well, why don't we change payday to a day that it can pay? Yeah.
Oh, yes. I forgot to mention earlier. While I was at the hospital Monday, I run into a few friends that I knew when I worked there, as I do regular, and have a bit of a chat with them. And it would seem as if the nurses are stirring, and yes, there could be a ban on strike action from them before long.
You don't want to get the girls pissed off.
Yeah, it's well, they have been shit on, really. You know, when you're in a critical job like that, it's a job that's absolutely needed, and you get offered like 3-4%, and then you see somebody else getting 13-15%. Yeah, with big payouts for back pay as well. I don't blame them for being pissed.
But you got to remember, I've been in amongst them. I did some time with the NHS, and you've got those that are more than happy to work for. I'm just going to pick two numbers out of the air here because they're not even coming to minimum wage, so don't throw that at me. But you've got the girls that are more than happy to work £10 an hour because they know they're going to get 20, 30, 40 hours a week guaranteed, and they're going to get £10 an hour. Then you've got those that do bank work because they want £15 an hour, and they will get £15 an hour if they do bank work, but they will get all the shit shifts, all the shit hours, and may end up not doing any hours a week. So you've got to find the right balance when it comes to nursing, contracted hours, and bank work. And yeah, I've been in amongst them doing the wages and everything else. So,
yeah, and the other thing is, you know, when you think that how much agency staff the NHS employs,
that's what they call bank work.
Yeah, but the agencies will be paid more for those people than what the NHS will pay for one of their own. They'll pay more.
Full-time staff will get £10 an hour. A bank staff will get paid £13, £14, but the agency will get best part of £20 an hour.
Freshly scraped carrot. I'll tell you what, Gary, when I shaved it off yesterday and I looked at what had come off, you know, I used to say I was grey, but it was like translucent. It was that fucking white. I mean, there is hair there now, but it's gone that white. You can hardly see it.
He did go a little low.
Yeah, I don't normally go quite that close.
How low can you go? How low? Too fucking low.
Oh, I can get well low.
Yeah, but that was too low.
At least I used
once
to.
Once you've done that, you can't go back.
No, I normally do a number 2, but with the attachment push forward, so it's a bit longer. But this time I totally forgot and
1.5.
went straight. And I should have took a picture really because. Good evening, Tony.
Oh, it was so amusing. Halfway through,
I'd done half of it to the length that it is now. But the other half, do you remember the Mad Professor photo I did? It was like that. It was all stuck out the side. Beard was out here. And I should have took a picture. It looks so funny in the mirror.
That's what you said when you finished.
Yeah. Buzz cut. Yeah, I'd done my own for years, and then Heather just finishes it off, Gary. Gets the bits I miss at the back.
I could do all of it for him, but he's happy playing. And then, yeah. There's egg the duck tufts on the top.
Thank you, Moo.
and bits at the back that are still like 3 inches long that he hasn't even found.
And the whiskers were getting to the length of like I had years ago that in my sleep I put my head like that and it's chicken and it's feeling like there's bloody insects walking across my head with the hair brushing across where I stir all night.
I'm still waiting for him to look like my cowboy.
Yeah, well, I did that and you said you didn't like it, so.
Yeah, that wasn't my cowboy.
Okay.
That was the cowboy out of the Village People.
What fucking cowboy out of Village People?
Was compared to my cowboy. Got it all wrong.
Did I?
Yeah, I did.
Right, well, next time I'll get a picture from Mask or something and see if I can
gave
match
you
it.
the picture that I wanted. I said this. Sean Connery in that in the film where he does like the Robin Hood type character. I can't remember what it's called. That's the look.
Oh, you're talking to Missy. I was going to say what the hell's going on there. But yeah, I mean, they finally realised that a lot of the army are not deserting, but they're leaving. First night was Richard Gere.
Oh, gotta look now.
Oh, we'll do it quietly.
I'm sorry, am I annoying?
Yeah.
I'll throw something at you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's more the Sean beard rather than the bigger one that I had. Not as bad as I did. Mine used to be like the bearded veterans. I used to be able to tuck it under me bloody strap of my helmet and fold it back across my face and tuck it in. Used to look like Cousin It riding a motorbike.
Wasn't that one? Wasn't Dragonheart. He didn't have much of a beard in that one. No, not first night. Definitely not first night.
I just gotta. Sorry about that. I had to fart. And it's not being very quiet at the moment. I wouldn't inflict that on you guys. Oh dear. Oh, have I got any more appointments this week? No, I've got the rest of the week clear so far, unless they bring me, which they quite regularly do.
Maybe it wasn't the name of the rose.
But yeah, you got the. I've only heard about the army. I know the RAF are short of pilots, in particular fighter pilots. How many are leaving from the Navy, I don't know, considering they've just sent a carrier task force out to the China Sea. Yeah, it's within reach of a lot of the troubles that are going on out there, but with the cracks that China comes out with out there on the ocean, are they provoking a conflict? So you can score it.
Robin and Marion.
Robin and Marion, yeah.
That's when you say what do you want me to look like. That's the Sean I want.
All right, we'll download it then. Oh, you can photocopy it and I'll stick it to my face as a mask.
Sod off. I don't love you anymore. I've sent you this picture of I don't know how many times, and you turn around and say, I can't get my hair like that.
No, I can't, because I can't fucking grow it long enough.
Nope.
Wasn't he an Islander? Yes, he was, Jen.
He was.
I know, it's disgusting stuff. It's absolutely disgusting, mate.
No,
Yeah.
sod off.
You know, trying to drag people into court for doing what they were ordered to do. I mean, this was a thought of mine today. You look at that 81-year-old that got sentenced today for, well, basically noncery, wasn't it? Interfering with kids. He managed to do it through a school boys club or something and a scout group that he ran. And when he gets caught, he fucks off to Thailand. But now he's come back. This was back in the 90s, I believe. He's
Not
back.
not when
Been
the
up. Do you know about the case?
Not when a 71-year-old.
Can I finish what I'm saying then, please? Yeah, up in front of the judge, gave him 46 years. He said he was living in paradise. Now, the reason he gave for coming back was that he was over here for either his birthday or somebody else's birthday. But was he? I mean, he's going to die in prison now, quite obviously. Probably not by his own hand with what he was doing, even in a wheelchair. But think about Thailand. Now, he seems to be disabled. He uses a wheelchair. Now, at his age out there, he's going to receive absolutely zero health care unless he pays for it. Well, if he's been out there since the 90s paying for lady boys and underage sex, he's probably run out of money. What more cushy a life could he have? Come back here, gets sent to prison, gets a warm bed to sleep in, gets hot meals every day, free health care. Was that his thought of coming back? It was just something that ran through my head. Sorry, but I didn't mean to cut you off. You know what I'm like. If I've got something in my head I want to talk about, I need to keep going,
Yeah,
otherwise
I'm just
I
saying
lose
it
it.
was older than that, because one of the guys on there that was saying about it was in his 70s and he was molested when he was a child.
Well,
So
maybe he started young, but he was actually 81.
the guy that was molested was in his 70s.
Well, when he was originally interviewed, he said he was in his 60s.
There was two of them.
Richard Burrows, 81. Well, I don't know, do I? But what I'm saying, at that age and a fucking cripple,
80s.
he's going to get more care in prison than he'd ever have got in Thailand. The age doesn't come into it. But it shows how long he's been doing it. You know, it was only in the 90s that he got caught. So, yeah, did you see, Stuart, the report today? Obviously, there's payments from the services if you're injured on active service or in the field, as it were, on active duty. And there's also the bit that they pay to your family should you end up deceased. Like the pension, and the army or the government are actually looking at cutting back or charging a bigger tax on those payments. So the people that would get it won't be getting nowhere near the amount they do. I can't remember where I read that. Don't take that as Jen. It's I read it somewhere, but the stuff I read are usually reputable sources. But they've never ever looked after the veterans as they should have been looked after. When you think how many survived, say, the Second World War, to how many survived things like the Gulf Wars, and those guys in later years ain't going to get anywhere near the support that they need. Pardon me. Yeah, quite a few of my mates, and my sister served in Northern Ireland, Missy. That was the first incident where they tried to get themselves kicked out. My mate ripped off all the rocket mesh off the side of a Sari can deliberately with a dumper, I think it was, or a digger or something. But arresting a soldier for doing his duty, same as out in the Middle East with the wars out there. Now, the Middle East was a different kettle of fish because it was literally kill or be killed. If you didn't kill them, even wounded, they were going to attempt to kill you no matter what. And their ways of doing it was far more barbaric than what any of the Western allies did, as far as I'm concerned. There was a lot of bad stuff happened during the Vietnam War. In fact, I was only watching the documentary on it last week. Every night there was an episode on digging right into it, into the Watergate tapes at the end. What was ordered, what was falsified, and looking at what was being done. I'm not surprised Nixon resigned. He was up to his neck in it. But again, that was a lot of guys, many forced to go really by conscription, that came back horribly injured, and many thousands didn't come back at all. And they ended up on the streets of America because they just weren't being taken care of. And nobody understood what the horrors they'd seen. There was a lot of them lost their marriages, lost their families through it. They still survive today, but they lost everything they had because they just couldn't cope with it. The two most poignant ones was the two photographs, obviously very famous ones. In fact, the documentary was on the other night, separate from the series, with the burning girl that got badly burnt with napalm in an attack. She survived, and she was being interviewed and said how her life has gone since. But that was their own side. That was South Vietnamese pilots dropped that napalm. And the other one, which a lot of people got really pissed off about, was the South Vietnamese officer just walking up and blindly executing at very close range with a pistol North Vietnamese soldier. And the bloke got absolutely canned for it in the press back then, and has done in a lot of places ever since. But when you dive into the full story and understand that that guy that he shot had killed most of his family and friends, him personally, not the Viet Cong, but that guy personally was involved in it, then I can totally understand what he did. And that was really the one, both of those that kicked off a lot of the protests in America over it. Because from then on in, people started to see what was actually going on over there. I mean, I was very young at the end of it, but I can remember my father sitting down and watching the black and white TV originally of it all going on. But you want to see horrors of war. That was one, and it was one they were never going to win. They were absolutely never going to fucking win it. What are we doing on time? Oh, it can last another 20 minutes. That drink. But yeah, I mean, that documentary series, it's a channel I watch quite regular, actually, called PBS America. A lot of shit in there as well, but there are some good ones. They did another one on the Chinese and how they went about during wars and what have you, when they invaded Burma and places like that. But they also ones on the communists. There was a very good 4-hour one on how they use propaganda during war and misdirection and stuff like that. Yeah, it was getting the people to go over there to fight, Stuart. It was a logistical nightmare from what I could see. Yeah, I mean, the only way they'd have won it is due to the North Vietnam, what they did to fucking Japan, really, during the Second World War. You bomb the shit out of a place, carpet bomb it, and the little fuckers are running out the holes, giving it, we're still here. And they were being supplied by Russia, who didn't have anything else going on at the time. You off, Jem? Take care. So I'm only going for another 10 minutes, quarter of an hour anyway. The throat's starting to go with all the talking. Yeah, that might even be the stem of a lot of my problems. I don't know, but
yeah, you have to cancel your lives.
I can't be doing that. I'd learn sign language before I did that. Type in subtitles.
I said to him earlier, you've got all this shit going on. What would you do if they told you? What would you do if they told you you couldn't have meat again? What was your answer? I
wouldn't survive without it.
I couldn't do that. I'm not doing that.
No. I'd drag myself out in a wheelchair and go hunting if I had to.
I think it's amazing that if somebody told you that this was killing you, you would still go, I can't live without meat.
Oh no.
Cannot live without meat. I need my beef. I need my chicken. I need my... You
bacon.
You need to fucking live.
I need bacon.
You haven't had bacon in ages.
Funny enough, I thought about it this morning because I used to enjoy a bit of hunting and that years ago. And I was imagining myself on it now. On a good hunt, you'd sit in one place for hours or lay in one place for hours, being absolutely silent. Every time I moved, my bones would be clicking or cramp had set in, but I'd be screaming in pain. I wouldn't have a chance of sitting still for more than 5 minutes without being in pain. Just eat a vegetarian, yeah. Yeah, I just wouldn't be able to go through life just eating vegetables. I am a devout carnivore. I mean, sometimes with a Sunday dinner, a roast, once my meat's gone, everything else that's left on the plate is left there. You know, I don't mind some vegetables with my meals, but nah, couldn't live on them. Couldn't live on them at all. I'd you start eating zombies? No, don't even go down that route. But there again, these vegetarians and herbalists, vegetabilists, whatever you call them, you know, think about the fact that they were looking into composting human corpses instead of burying them to feed vegetables. Yeah, it'd be more like fucking the film Soylent Green, wouldn't it? Yeah, exactly, Hunter. I mean, they did some atrocious things. You know, there's a lot of guys survived that shouldn't have done with what the Japs done to them. You know, they were just vicious. You know, I mean, they're going on about. I mean, I don't follow it a lot because I don't really give a fuck what happens there. But take care, Missy. Look after yourself, sweetheart. Going on about Gaza all the time and what's being done in there. Oh, it's against the rules of law. It's unhumanitarian. But they seem to forget, you know, everybody's dealing with the Chinese. The Chinese were the ones that rampaged through cities, bayoneting babies in hospital, nurses. You know, most of the females were abused before they were bayoneted. You know, it's... Nobody's saying anything about that, about the Chinese back then, though. You know, and I don't even think they fucking apologised for it. You know, they go on about the rules of law of war. There are no rules as far as I'm concerned. It's kill or be killed. But yeah, the Japanese, the Viet Cong, the Chinese, some of the other tribes that were involved as well, they all committed atrocities. A whole lot of them. Yeah, exactly, Stuart. Exactly. Now, I mean, you take places like Saudi, places like that, mainly Muslim, but they won't let any of these other fuckers in there, will they? They won't take any immigrants or anything like that in there. Hell no. And you look at the punishments for entering these different countries illegally, like they've been doing here. Most of them are jail time, some even execution. In fairness, you know, Starmer said, if you don't like what I'm doing, you can leave. And those that have got the money have up and fucking left, haven't they? And it's us poor fuckers that can't leave, can't afford to leave, that are left here in the shit. The way of the country. Absolutely disgusting. Right, I'm going to leave it there, folks. So, yeah, I'm a bit 10 minutes early there, but the numbers are dropping. So, but hopefully we might get some more warm weather. They are forecasting some rain and that from tomorrow and it cooling down. Or if you
I
believe,
heard 28 degrees
that was supposed to be today.
this
Um,
week.
Yeah, today. Although
Okay.
there are some channels out there, which mainly on Facebook, predicting the snow drifts and torrent rain and everything else and freezing conditions. But whatever you're doing, as always, guys, stay safe, stay strong, and stay free. And with that, it's good night from me.
And good night from me. Take care, everybody.
There will be a few videos next week, but there'll be a bit far and few between, but we'll still be doing the live. But until then, guys, respects to everybody for dropping in. Thanks for joining us tonight. And we'll see you all next time. And we're gone.